I was wondering if you could talk about where you draw the line with free speech, hate speech, and slander.
It's a terrific question. My position is that even hate speech should be completely and totally allowed in our country. The most disgusting speech should absolutely be protected. And it's not a viewpoint that is held by the left. The ACLU used to hold this viewpoint. The American Civil Liberties Union, they sued so that legitimate Nazis could march through downtown Skokie. You remember this? Back in the 80s and 90s? Now, why would the ACLU do this? Because they said as soon as you use the word hate, that is a very subjective term. Because then all of a sudden it is in the eyes or it is in the implementation of whomever has the power. So here's my belief. The more speech, the better. Let's use the Westboro Baptist Church, for example. So there's a movement that says it should be illegal to say what they're saying. I think what they say is disgusting. I think what they say is reprehensible. But I've also seen every time they show up, a multiple of people show up peacefully to show how foolish they are. I think that in a civil society, the best ideas will win as long as you have that marketplace. And here's the real issue. As soon as you shut up hate speech, those people only get more powerful. And this is the unintended consequence of censorship. You give more credence to the silenced person the moment you shut them up, because then they can play the victim and they say, they're trying to shut me up because I have something that everyone else wants and I'm a threat to them. No, you're not. You're just a fool, and those people have too much power. And so the minute that you start to enforce speech laws like they do in Europe based on specific political opinions, regardless of how reprehensible they are, then you actually give credence to them. This is why in Germany, where they do not allow swastikas, they do not allow Nazi paraphernalia, their white nationalist awful movement is actually gaining traction because it has like a rebellious underbelly. No. Let me be very clear. Bring your bad ideas publicly so decent people can cross-examine you, so we can see who you are, we can talk to you, and convince the public otherwise. This is a hard argument for some young people to hear because they're like, it's so hateful, it's so awful, it deteriorates our country. No. Those ideas, if they spread, deteriorate our country. But good people will speak in opposition to them. And that's why I'm a big believer. I'm a free speech absolutist, through and through. I think that the utility of speech is what makes human beings different than any other type of being on the planet. Aristotle said we are the speaking beings, that our capacity to communicate is who we are. And I actually think it creates an active citizenry when bad people are allowed to speak. When really bad people are given a permit, all of a sudden the entire population's like, that's disgusting, let's go get our yard signs, go make them, and we're going to go speak out against them. They're kind of on their toes, they're looking out for things. All of a sudden, if the government becomes the speech police and they start calling the shots, like, oh, the government will get rid of the bad guys for me. And they kind of become complacent. They become less active. They become less responsible for the country around them. And so I don't draw a line. That's me. I say that you should allow all opinions to be heard. Now, with slander, if you make the intentional publication when you're behind a news outlet with false information, knowingly false information, I think that you should be able to be sued in court more generously with the libel laws that we have in this country. And so the difference is that if you know you have materially false information and you publish it to a big, wide readership, that is not freedom of speech, that is slander. And it's very clear what the Supreme Court has said with that. And so I hope that helps answer your question. So thank you.